Hey everybody, how are you? Good morning. It is the Data Roundtable for Tuesday, July 15th. I can't believe it's already the middle of July. How did we get here? Gosh, that is so fast, isn't it? Guys, I'm just happy to be able to spend more time with you here on Data Roundtable format. If you haven't attended before, it's where we have open discussion on any topic, any data related topic that people want to talk about. We can talk about projects, vendors, white papers, problems you're having, ideas you're having, whatever you'd like. The whole purpose is for us to be here and be able to talk and be able to kind of share in the fellowship of data and just kind of see where the conversation takes us. I intentionally walk in here with no agenda. We'll just see where the conversation goes. I do this at 1500 GMT on YouTube, and then I do it again at 1500 GMT on Instagram. Excuse me, 1600 GMT on Instagram, just to kind of give both sides an opportunity to contribute and whatnot. So let me know what's on your mind. Feel free to just say hello in the chat. I know a lot of us are um, at work or in the car or at school, whatever the case may be. Please let us know how you're doing. And again, we'll just kind of see where the conversation goes. It's always fun to see the different things that people bring up and talk about. Over in the chat, we have an early arrival. Sedant says hi. Hey Sedant, how are you? Nice to see you. Hope that you're doing well, my friend. Sedant, I'm trying to figure out if you've been here before, and I think you have. I think this isn't your first time, is it? Let me know in the chat. But welcome. Hope you're doing well. Let me know what's on your mind. I intentionally keep this open for whoever wants to contribute anything. So Sedant, welcome. Osama, our good friend Osama says, hi Dennis, I hope everything is going well. Everything is going very well, Osama. I hope the same for you. I hope that you're still able to stay inside in that air conditioning because it is so hot in many parts of the world right now. In the northern hemisphere, we are absolutely 100% in the middle of summer. There's no question about that. So yeah, everything's going well over here, Osama. I hope the same for you and your family and everybody else out there. Everybody else in Morocco. I have a lot of followers in Morocco for some reason. A lot of followers in Northern Africa, actually. But yeah, everything is going really well on my end. I woke up a little bit later than usual today, but still got out, did my morning routine, went out and walked my dog, got my coffee. So everything is going very well. I had a couple of good phone calls yesterday. I have a client call later today, so it's gonna be a great day. Actually, I have another very interesting call later today where I was reached out to by one of my payment processors, and they are doing one-on-one focus groups. So they invited me to be a part of their focus group. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they run that and the types of questions they're going to ask and things along those lines. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Osama says very hot week, 40 degrees. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. Out here it's actually very similar. Today is a particularly hot day. I don't think we'll quite reach 40. Let me double check that. I think we're going to be closer to like 48. Let me see what 40 is. 40. Oh wow, 40 is only 104? Oh gosh. No, okay, then we're definitely above 40. Yeah, we'll probably be like 42 today then. But yeah, it is blazing hot out here. This morning I actually turned down my air conditioning to get even cooler because it wasn't quite there yet. So Casual Economist says, happy Tuesday, y'all. Happy Tuesday to you too, Casual Economist. I didn't know they use y'all in Minnesota. They definitely use it in Texas, and that's where I picked it up when I lived there. But I didn't think that y'all was a Minnesota thing, so welcome, Casual Economist. Okay, Sedant says, I am a recent BTech graduate, average person, 22 years old, not yet employed during my college days. I was confused whether to do development, DSA, or AI domain, data science, machine learning, but did hardly anything. Please guide me. So Sedant, help me understand that. How do you classify yourself as did hardly anything, but yet you graduated. Help me understand. Maybe you mean didn't do anything in terms of internships or jobs? Let me know. Let me know what you mean there. I just want to break into tech and do a software job. Well, but you didn't get a software degree though, did you? Like, I don't know what degree you got. You mentioned a bunch of different things in your statement there. So, what degree did you get? Let's take it one step at a time, right? What degree did you get, and what do you mean by did hardly anything? Um, just pass the exams. Okay, how? you know, I hate to have to ask this, but one of the things that I have learned, and guys, maybe you guys can help me in the chat, because I know I have a lot of followers from all over the world. One of the things I have learned is copying and cheating is a lot more acceptable in other countries than what might be acceptable in the US or what I've been accustomed to. So I'm not saying that's the situation here, but I get people in my DMs or messaging me or calling me for coaching calls. I didn't realize how acceptable copying and cheating is in other places. Like, it's pretty acceptable in a lot of other places. So let me know, Sadant. I mean, you got a degree. You had to have done something. Or were you copying off your friends? I don't know. Yassine, our good friend Yassine. Hello, sir. It's Yassine from Tangier, Morocco. Uh, yo, boy. Yo, boy got his master's, all things. That's awesome, Yassine. Congratulations. Congratulations, Yassine. So for those of you that don't remember, Yassine did his master's final presentation today, the 15th. So it sounds like everything went well. But congratulations, Yassine. If you want to share more about your project or the feedback that they gave you or whatnot, let us know. But congratulations on the new degree, and also let us know what you're doing. Right, you got some decisions coming up. So I know you said you're gonna shut it down for a little bit, just get away from everything, which is obviously a good idea. And congratulations, yeah. Okay, so Siddhant says, I didn't cheat, I just studied day before exams and cracked it. Oh boy. Oh boy. Siddhant, you have a lot of work ahead of you. Um, you have a lot of work ahead of you, Siddhant. But Siddhant, so let me ask you this, because, obviously I don't know you, right? But if I'm just going by what you're writing, you were kind of confused in college. You kind of just did enough to get by, just enough to pass the test. Why do you want to go into a tech job? Like, you don't sound passionate about it. Like, you're not setting yourself up to describe yourself as somebody who's passionate about tech or a development job, right? Which I think is what you said. So why? Like, what's your motivation there, Siddhant? Like, why are you doing this instead of like opening a restaurant or starting like a dog walking service? I don't know, pick something. Like, why this? So Casual Economist says, congrats, Yassine. Osama says, congratulations, Yassine. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Yassine deserves our congrats. Casual Economist says, Yassine, you got to go for a PhD now just to get on Dennis's bad side. Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Casual Economist always stirring stuff up. Yassine says, thank you all my friends. I wish the best for you. Yeah, well, we wish the best for you too. It's a huge step in life to get a master's. But yeah, now you got to decide if you're going to get a PhD or not. So yes, obviously you guys know how I feel about PhDs. But there's a lot that goes into that decision. I think Yassine mentioned how the opportunity there is to do it for free, right? Yeah, I think you said you're going to get some sponsorship via one of your professors, which obviously is a blessing. I mean, not everybody gets that opportunity. So lots to think about there, Yassine. Let us know if you have any updates on your thoughts there. You know, the people have to know, Yassine. Okay, so coming back to Sadant. Oh gosh. Sadant wants stability and less physical hard work. Oh my gosh. Okay, Sadant. I was something like a jack of all trades, but master at nothing. Okay, so Sadant, here's what I'm getting from you, Sadant. What I'm getting from you is that you don't really know what you want to do, right? Like, what is pushing you to, like, what is it that you are interested in or passionate about? Like, I think you need to define that first. So this is where I usually recommend the book Mastery by Robert Greene. It you know, it helped me, you know, it was a good book for me. But if you're saying I want to go into computer or software development, DevOps, however you want to put that, because it's not physical labor and it seems like there's jobs in it, man, you are setting yourself up for disappointment. You are setting yourself up to kind of just be more unhappy, you know? Like honestly, that's what I think you'd be setting yourself up for. If I had money, I would have a business. Okay, what kind of business? Obviously, I'm going to guess that it'd be nothing tech related, right? You would probably pick something like completely unrelated to tech because you don't like tech. You're not a tech guy. So let me know. You know, if anybody else in the chat wants to give an opinion too, you know, feel free. But Sadan, I'm not seeing what you're passionate about, man. Like what are you doing here? Like what do you want to do on this earth? What do you want to do with the rest of your life? You got to further define that. Otherwise, you are setting yourself up for disappointment, my friend. I mean, software development, you know, the thing about software development is if you don't like it, it's an extremely boring job. Like if you don't have a passion for it, I think it's like probably one of the most boring jobs on the planet. You know, my last development job, I was at IBM. I think it was like the second or third time I had worked for IBM, something like that. And I was doing, I was doing Java for them. They had hired me because I was a specialist in a very particular IBM product out there, and I hated it. Oh my god, I hated my life. I hated having to go in there every day and write Java code and hang out with other developers. Oh my god, I hate it. Like if you don't like development, you are going to be miserable. When I walked out of there, I promised myself I would never ever ever take another software development job again. You know, but just you're setting yourself up for disappointment, my friend. So Yassine says, I'm really in confusion. This is replying to casual economists and PhDs. I decided to shut things down, like have a belief I have to stop trying to decide for a while, and it will hit me suddenly in the gut. Okay, like that gut feeling. Okay, suddenly like that gut feeling. Okay, you know what, Yassine? I like that. I'm on board with that. And you know, I'm a big fan of that. Whenever I have tough decisions to make in my life, I like kind of just, you know, leaving it to the higher power, leaving it to God, and saying, I'm going to stop thinking about this. I'm going to put this in God's hands, and whatever happens, happens, right? Like something will come along to say, oh yeah, that's the direction I need to go in, right? So I totally get it, Yassine. I'm in a little bit of that process right now because there's a couple decisions coming up that I need to make. But yeah, you know, if you want to just kind of not think about it and just let something come to you, you know, let inspiration kind of come naturally, I'm all for that. You know, good for you. Good for you. Let me see. Yeah, so Sadat says, yeah, I did research regarding DevOps, but no jobs for freshers. But Sadat, you can't get a job because you're not a developer, my guy. Like, you're not a developer. You're a guy who passed the exams or studied for the exams the day before. That's why you can't find the job opportunities, because you ain't a developer. So I don't know, Sadan. I think you got some soul searching to do there, my friend. Sadan says, I can make anything interesting for myself. I decided software. Can you please guide me for that? Which domain? Oh my gosh. So Sadan, the same thing that applies in data science applies in software development. Domains don't matter. You shouldn't care about the domain. Like you know, if you think about software and like, you know, object-oriented programming and portability and all that stuff, right? Like it's supposed to be applicable to any piece of software you work on, right? Like you almost don't care what the software does. You're just the coder, right? And to be honest with you, that's kind of one of the things I hated about software development, that you would work on stuff where you were just like a tiny little cog in the machine that moved other cogs, that moved other things, but you never got to see like the impact of your work, right? So when it's broken out like that, that means domain doesn't matter. So Sadan, like there is no answer for domain. Like the fact that you're asking that shows that you're not quite understanding like the abstract nature of software development, right? Like software development is like it's completely abstract in that way. Like that's why classes are so portable, because you don't care what you're applying them to. You just care that X does Y, right? Yeah, is it? We'll call you 59. 59, welcome to the chat. Glad to see you here. 59 says you can try for government jobs like bank, rail, etc. Just need speed and accuracy to crack the exams. Because you're only 22, try different paths. Okay, sure. That's not, yeah. I mean, if you want to go down that road, that's not terrible advice. What's funny is I'm gonna guess 59 that you're from Eastern Europe or Europe, because government jobs like bank and rail, that doesn't apply everywhere in the world, right? There's plenty of places in the world where banks and rail and transportation are not government entities, right? They're not nationalized industries. So the fact that you said that makes me guess that you're from Eastern Europe or European country. But yeah, not everybody lives in a country where banks are nationalized. Okay, so Sadat says, okay, what to do next? I heard SDE is live building something, and data science is just analytics, math, and code for that. All right, we'll leave your last statement aside, but Sadat, what you need to do next is you need to decide what it is that you want to do, right? Like, what is it that you want to do? You said you'd start a business. Well, what kind of business? I don't think you replied that yet. But you can't get a software development job because guess what? You're not a software developer. Like, that's why. It's not because the recruiter isn't nice to you, or because you don't have the right keywords, or because some random guy on the internet told you the roadmap to follow. You can't get those jobs because you're not a software developer. Like, you're a guy who studied the day before exams. Like, that's the best advice I can give you, my guy. You got the answer lies within, right? As they say, right? 59 says, oh, I didn't know that. I'm from India, though. Okay, yeah, I guess India does have nationalized banks, don't they? Yeah, but they allow some private banks, if I remember right. Yeah, okay. But welcome, 59. I don't think I've seen you here before, so welcome. Yeah, so Sadan, I really hate to feel like I'm picking on you. I really don't. But you're kind of all over the place. You gotta further define what it is that you want to do, right? Sadan says government jobs are difficult for open category like me. Instead, I've seen many people Left the preparation. Yeah, I mean, that is kind of the downside to government jobs, right? They usually don't come quickly or easily, right? It's not always easy or it's not a quick hiring cycle for government jobs. At least that's in my experience, from speaking with different people and whatnot. Yeah, Siddhant, you're still chasing the job though, right? How about chasing what you want to do? I really think you'd benefit from some like introspection, Siddhant, and just going in the direction that you want to, not where the money is or where the jobs are or things like that. I don't know, but what do you guys think? There's other experienced people in the chat. If you guys want to help Siddhant or give your advice, this is a good time to do it. Siddhant says, I never thought of business because no capital. But you never mentioned the business, right? You never mentioned the business. And then what effort are you putting into finding the capital, right? So I don't know, Siddhant. I'm very careful about people following the money. That is a very quick way for you to end up unhappy. You're going to end up sorely disappointed if you end up in jobs that you followed for the money or for other reasons, right? That probably weren't very good. Siddhant says, I left the business. Yeah, but what was the business? Like, you haven't even said that, right? And also, I mean, if you left the business idea, then how do you know you're not going to leave a software job? I don't know, Siddhant. I think there's a lot of danger here. Money gives happiness. That's truth. No, I don't believe that. I think it's a popular opinion, and it's probably a more popular opinion when you're young. But I think it's actually the reverse. I think that if you follow your passion and you're doing what you want to do, that will bring everything else you want, including money. Stable income, zero money to invest. I don't know what you mean by that. How do you have a stable income and zero money to invest? I don't get that. Help me understand what you mean by that, Siddhant. Casual Economist says, I barely know what I'm doing, so I can't get out any advice. Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. But you know what, Casual Economist? That's the trick to life, right? Nobody knows what they're doing, right? Nobody does. So it's one of those things that you have to you got to just use your rational mind, right? And say, look, does this sound and feel like I'm kind of sort of maybe on the right track? Yeah, it does. Let me keep on going down this track. Or no, that was a terrible idea. What am I doing? Let me backtrack, right? So that's the trick to life, Casual Economist. You never really know what's going on, right? I remember I read this great article. It's been a few years now, but it talked about how we kind of assume that other people know what's going on, right? But the reality is that nobody knows what's going on. Like even our leaders, our people we look up to, and all that, right? You think like, oh well, somebody's got it figured out, right? Like somebody above my pay grade's got it figured out, and they don't. They're just as clueless as you. They're just trying to do the same kind of sort of best guess as they can as everybody else can, right? Nobody's got it figured out, Casual Economist. That's one of the ironies to life. You think they do. Or from the outside, you think, oh, that person's got everything, they got everything going for them. They got their life together. They're just guessing like you are. That's all, right? There's nothing special. We're all just guessing. This is where we're supposed to get philosophical. We're all just floating on the same rock, flying through space. Who knows what's going on, right? But yeah, casual economist. So I appreciate you being honest, but the reality is that none of us know what's going on. But at least you're smart enough to say, "Hey, look, I'm gonna just not help anybody because I'm barely helping myself." So very self-aware. Siddhant says hardly anyone ends up doing what they started doing. Example: Nokia, Samsung, Amazon, Facebook. Okay, so basically, you're telling me that you just compared yourself to Jeff Bezos. Really? Really? You just compared yourself to Jeff Bezos. Really? That's where you're gonna go with this, Siddhant? Aren't you the same guy that said that you only studied for exams the night before, and you're Jeff Bezos? Oh, okay, okay. Casual economist says, especially in this job market. Yeah, for sure, casual economist. It's a different if it's a different job climate. I'll agree, but it just requires a different level of preparation, right? It's just a different level of preparation. Siddhant says, "Why don't you answer to the point?" Sir? I have given you an answer to the point. Don't get snippy with me. I told you to not look for software development jobs because you're not a software developer. Is that not clear? Is my microphone off again? Like, what do you want? I just told you, you're not a software developer. You're a guy who studied for exams the night before. So don't be surprised when you can't get a software development job. Like, what do you want me to tell you? I don't know what you. I don't know, Saddam. You're starting to become a weird dude, man. But you're not getting those software development jobs because you're not a software developer. You don't have the passion for it. You don't like it. You barely got a degree in it. Like, what else do you want to hear, my friend? So how to become a software developer? By having a passion for it, by actually liking software development, which you don't like. You had 4 years of studying software development and you didn't like it. That's how you become a software developer, by liking it. Like, Sadan, I don't know like what you're expecting to hear, but like, you had 4 years of being able to study software development and all you did was study the night before. Like that, why does that not tell you that you don't like software development? Like, what more signs do you need for the universe to give you to say, hey, Sadan, maybe software development is not for you? Like, you had 4 years. And I think you said you went to BTech, which my understanding of it is that that's a fairly decent school, right? That's my understanding of it. I mean, from what other people have told me, because I have a lot of Indian followers, I think that's a fairly decent school. You had 4 years at a good development school, and you don't like software development. You didn't do any software development. I didn't have clarity back then, but you don't have clarity now, right? You said you want to do software development because of the stability and the money. That's not clarity. That's reaching for a lifeline. So I'm asking you to get that clarity. Take the time to be introspective and think about what it is that you want to do. That's the answer. Right? I mean, and I got to be honest with you guys, I've had this conversation a couple times this month, the last 2 months. Like, I kind of worry when people like tell me these types of questions. Like, what should I be doing? What's the roadmap? Tell me what to do. Like, really? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm flattered that they ask me, and I think I have good enough experience to give advice. But you're gonna change like the course of your life because of what some random guy on the internet says? Like, really? Like, Like there's a problem in that question, isn't there? Like you're seriously gonna go out and do something just because I said it? Like just some guy on the internet said it? I don't know about that, right? Like I know I wouldn't do that. I mean, I'd invest in time to get more information, get some coaching or just work a little bit more, but like it kind of makes me uncomfortable when people ask that like please tell me how to change the rest of my life right now. Okay. Um cuz I didn't even try doing it. Yeah, I know. You said that. That's why you're not a software developer. Because if you were a software developer, you would have tried. Like, this is one of the reasons like I think I don't know how many times I've spoken about this. But you guys know that I was a software developer for a very long time in my career, and then I made the move to data science. And it's because I wasn't passionate about it. I just didn't like it. It was a great paycheck. I got to work with a lot of cool people. I did contracts all over the world. I flew around the world, but I wasn't passionate about it. And I remember that one of the things that kind of drove that thought was also that I had a friend. And I've never really told him this, but I had a friend who, like, he was super passionate about development. Like he would get like the Microsoft certifications, he would go to the conferences, and he would be like studying the books, like the test primer books, and he'd be up on like all the latest releases and stuff, and Patch Tuesday, he would know everything about Patch Tuesday and all that stuff. And like I would look at him and I'd be like, like I make more money than him because I had stronger leadership skills. But like I'm not passionate, like, and that made me feel bad, because I'm just not passionate about it, like they were, right? So like Sadan, I kind of like feel like the same from you, like you spent 4 years and you didn't do anything with it. You're not passionate about it. Like that's not going to bring you happiness. Code India says, I search for ML jobs. I see 20,000 plus listings, but for AI engineer roles, it's only 200 plus. If I apply for ML jobs, as they are mainly focused on machine learning and DL algorithms or LLM generation now in interviews. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true, Code India. Um, I think that there is definitely a blending of the lines, excuse me, between all the titles and stuff in data science, right? So if we agree that there is a blending of those titles, why is that? Well, it's because a lot of Gen AI and a lot of the core of those products is really machine learning, right? And it's certainly neural networks, right? Like there's a lot of that. And then there's a lot of core principles from data science in Gen AI. Like right now, everybody's talking about Gen AI and like reinforcement learning. Well, reinforcement learning is not exclusive to AI. And that's really more of a general data science topic than it is an AI specific topic, right? So I totally understand um, why you would see that. But is that a bad thing? I don't think it's a bad thing. If anything, maybe you would almost say that the people posting those job ads don't fully understand what they're doing, right? Like if somebody posts a Gen AI position, but they start to eliminate people who are machine learning engineers, then they're doing it wrong, right? Like why would you do that? Like you need machine learning engineers because it leads into Gen AI, right? So something to think about there, Code India. But I think that that's something that you're going to see more and more of, right? I mean more and more of the blending of the job titles and the roles, and what they'll ask you in interviews and things along those lines. But generally speaking, I'm for it. I mean, so many of the different things are kind of blended, and they're supposed to be blended, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, guys, anybody else watching in the chat? This is the Data Roundtable, where we talk about any number of topics that you would like. It's up to you. There's no agenda here. Let us know if you've read any interesting white papers or problems, vendors, anything you'd like, really. I think earlier this week or over the weekend, we had some good conversation about different projects. Somebody mentioned they were working on a project for air traffic control. I would love to see that come to fruition, because I think that could be super interesting if you could get AI to be your transcriber for audio files of air traffic control. That would be super, super cool. Yeah, but as I mentioned, for me, I have a couple of different things coming up with clients this week. Thursday, there will not be a stream because I'm taking a golf lesson. So gonna go ahead and do that on Thursday. It's gonna be hot during that lesson. I have no idea why I signed up for it, but Thursday we're gonna have to cut that. Code India says, sir, for a better job, what is better to go in, deep dive, core ML, or Gen AI? What are you defining as a deep dive into Gen AI? Because I don't know what that sounds or what that looks like. So unless you have a pretty clear path, I would go on the ML side, particularly on the neural network side, right? Because a lot of the underlying Gen AI is machine learning, but it's a lot more also on neural networks, right? So let me know what you mean by a deep dive into Gen AI, because I don't think that's really been defined yet. I don't know what that looks like. But a deep dive into core machine learning is rarely a bad option. Like it's hard to imagine where you would go wrong with that, right? But yeah, but let me know what you mean by that. Maybe you mean something completely different than I think. So we're going to keep this format going throughout the summer, at least into the middle of September or so. I'm going to see how I end up with doing this on both YouTube and on Instagram, because it's two completely different formats, almost two completely different audiences, but we'll see how this works out. All right, guys, we're hitting almost 40 minutes here, so this seems like a natural transition point. But thank you so much for everyone who attended. Thanks for the great questions. Shout out to our good friend Yassine for finishing up his master's in data science. Congratulations, my friend. Such a great longtime supporter. So I'm really happy to also see the congratulations in the chat for Yassine. But yeah, congratulations, my friend. Huge step in life. And now it's time to relax and just kind of let the world and the universe and God speak to you about what's next for you. So guys, as always, you know, such a dynamic world we live in. So please take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and I will see you guys next time.